Okay, hello. Thank you for joining us here at My Art Lesson. And to tell us a little bit about your business and your work in portfolio management.
Hi,
Sure.
thanks for having me today. This is really exciting. I'm Lorraine Serra, and I'm the founder and director of Portfolio College Counseling. It's portfoliocc.com. And we have been around since 2008, and we are dedicated to working with art and design students who are applying to both college and graduate programs worldwide, actually. So we help both on the academic side and the artistic side. And a big part of what we do is helping students to develop and prepare their portfolios.
Fantastic. So I have some questions about portfolio development. Can you tell us what you recommend for a physical portfolio for students?
That's an interesting question. Because most students, to apply you don't need them. There are no in-person interviews, but for a portfolio day, for instance, really does not have to be anything elaborate or expensive, something that can accommodate the largest work that you plan to bring. It can be, a cardboard folder, or they have these pleather ones with zippers and plastic sleeves. So something like that, something that'll just accommodate your 2D work.
And how many pieces of work do you anticipate a student should have in their portfolio?
To bring to a portfolio day?
Yes.
So I actually have asked some of my students what they did. There does not seem to be a limit, but most of my students have brought between 10 and 20 pieces, and they seem to be able to get through that with the time that they have with each college. So that's between 10 and 20 is fine.
Mm-hmm. And how do you recommend they prepare the work for that portfolio?
I would definitely recommend that they organize it and edit out work that duplicates other work they're not really comfortable with. Really present your best work. If you have three-dimensional pieces or large pieces, I suggest photographing them and bring the photographs. Some students bring a laptop or an iPad. And so you can put your work into Google Slides and show it that way. Or just in case there's something wonky with the internet in the hall, I also suggest making a PDF of the work and having that on the desktop so that no matter what, you can show that.
Agreed. How many pieces? Oh, we already touched on that one. Sorry. Should students bring a sketchbook?
Definitely. And I think that's one of the things that they often leave out. It gives a lot of information to an experienced reviewer. As they flip through it, they can see chronologically what your development is, what things interest you, what ideas you attempt and maybe abandon, what ideas and concepts you move forward with. It's really good to show your development and your visual thinking. Highly recommend bringing one.
Excellent. And now, how do you prepare students for going to either a portfolio review at a college or a portfolio day in terms of being prepared for what they could hear?
Well, it's good experience for what they're going to have in college, which is critiques all the time. Every studio class, you're going to have a critique. They really need to learn not to take the critique if there's some negative aspects of it personally, and understand that it's really designed to help them advance their work and improve it. So, and also they're going to hear they're going to get different responses to their work from different people, because part of it is subjective no matter what. So just be prepared for lots of different points of view about your work.
Good. And just a quick follow-up to that, where I know with my students, at times I've heard some unfortunate stories from students about receiving harsh feedback. And fortunately, in my experience, that isn't typical. Um, but I often do describe to students that, depending on the schools that you see and what their experience in a day could be, they could be grumpy, they could be cranky, and sometimes they can be harsh.
Right. Right. That's unfortunate, and that's really not the role of the reviewer, whether it's, somebody from admissions or somebody from faculty. So, you try to bring the student back to a level of confidence about their work, and just say basically what you just said is, maybe they were having a bad day, or, they were pressed for time or something like that, but definitely don't take it personally.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. Should parents come?
Parents can come, and this year they're only allowing one extra person to come beside the student, as more or less as a placeholder, not really as emotional support, but for somebody to stand in one line while you're being reviewed at another college.
So it's good to have a second person, but it doesn't necessarily have to be mom or dad.
Correct. Well, mom or dad's usually good for transportation.
Mhm.
And yeah, otherwise you really spend a lot of time waiting on lines, especially for the really popular schools. You can hit more schools if you have a placeholder person, and it's totally acceptable. Nobody objects to that.
Mhm. And now my question was, what mistakes do you see students make? But I know you were kind of flipping that question and talking about really the best strategies for having a good day. So do you want to go through some of the things that you've garnished over the years?
Sure. I always advise students to know what they're asking for, in terms of what schools they want to apply to. So I would, the lists of who's going to appear at each of the NPDs is listed. So I advise students to select the schools that they want to be reviewed by before they go, because it can be very chaotic when you walk in. They should be.
And to prioritize, probably, right?
Yeah, because if you spend 2 or 3 hours there, you may only end up seeing 3 or 4 schools between the lines, and this goes for online too. It's not a quick process. Have questions. Be prepared when the reviewer is flipping through your portfolio. If there's a little space, ask questions that you've been wondering about. Can you change majors? Is there a foundation year? Anything. Let them know that you know a little bit about their school. Very important to have your work organized, which we touched on before, and be able to talk about your work. Really important. They may stop as they're looking through your work and say, well, tell me a little bit about this. What inspired this? How did you make it? Be comfortable talking about your work. And sometimes that takes with students who are a little shy about their work or a little more introverted. They need to rehearse that, what they want to say about their work. One thing that students forget to do is to take notes. In the rush of the day, they see a bunch of schools, they all say different things, they come back, we talk about, I say, okay, so what did this school say? I don't remember. Take notes, take names, take the business card and send a little note that says, it was great to meet you today. I'm looking forward to applying. Those are just good little professional tips that I pass along. Another thing is students often go to more than one NPD, and if you're only going to one, to go to it early enough so that you have time to revise your own work. Don't go like the day, but if they're scheduled throughout the fall, but don't go to one that's 2 days before your application deadline, because you won't have a chance to incorporate any of their suggestions into your work.
Excellent advice.
Thank you.
And that's it. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Pleasure to meet you. Thanks.